Hey everyone, it's Jane. I'm going to be doing a review of the book Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine and of the strawberry cream frappuccino from Starbucks. Oh my gosh, this looks so great. So what happened was I saw this young boy who had he had a bigger one, but he had like strawberries in it and everything looked so great. Now I kind of like asked him like, what do you have? And he told me it was this. And I mean, it doesn't look like coffee, but it was from Starbucks, so we'll try it out and see what's going on. So the barista named Hannah, she made this for me, and she was super sweet. She's actually a super talented artist, and I'm very excited to possibly get her to draw a caricature of me, which I'll put as my profile photo. So I don't know, this channel is kind of just like a mishmash of every other part of my life, and I guess it's coming together. I don't know. I hope so. So no, there is not. I had to research it. Now my lighting's different because the sun went down, but no, there isn't. I've been drinking it. There isn't coffee in here, but it's still a very good drink. So let's get into this novel. It is from 2017, so it's about 6 years old now. It was in Reese's book club, and it definitely had a phenomenal wave behind it. A lot of people fell in love with this character, and it's easy to see why. In the beginning of the first page of the novel, she comes off as very matter-of-fact, kind of tells the story of how she got her job, and she says, interestingly enough, that she feels like her boss gave her the job because he pitied her. And why that was is because she had a black eye, missing teeth, and a broken arm. So automatically you're like, well, why did she have that? So it entrances the reader right in the beginning of the first page. And you start noticing her coworkers make fun of her and call her mental, but without them knowing, she overhears them, and she sometimes giggles at what they say too. She doesn't take it personal. She comes off as very strong-willed, very much knows who she is, and can say jokes sometimes that come off as rude, but she's not trying to be. It's for this reason that she kind of is a loner. She is socially awkward and backward, but that's because she doesn't have a lot of people to interact with. There's also this funny scene in the beginning of the novel where she goes to the doctor and she tells the doctor she has back pain, and it's because her chest is too large. And the doctor's like, well, how do you know? And she says, well, I measured at my chest with a kitchen scale. I put each of my boobs on there at once at a time, and they seem to be too big, and that's why my back hurts. And the doctor's just kind of like, okay, Eleanor, I'll just prescribe you some painkillers. And she's like, strong ones, please. And she likes a good drink, and she likes her painkillers. And you get this sense that there's this looming trauma from her past that she hasn't dealt with. The novel is written in first person, so there's a lot of things that she talks about that have nothing to do with like like if a person met her on the street, the first things they would notice about her, she never mentions because that's not how she sees herself. And I thought it was really amazing that the author was able to keep certain secrets secret for that long. And she is still struggling to understand how to interact with people, but she is telling herself every day, everything's fine, everything's fine. And she starts having a crush on someone that doesn't know, probably doesn't even know she exists. She starts having a crush on this musician, and the thing is, she likes this guy because he fulfills the role of what her mother said is husband material. Despite the fact that we see during phone calls with her mother is a negative, bullying, judgmental character. So the idea that she'd want to make her mom happy and fulfill the role of what her mom thought was a husband material is kind of ironic, despite the fact she doesn't like her mom. So she has this sort of imaginary relationship going on with this guy, and in the meanwhile, she ends up on the street with a new coworker whose name is Raymond, and he is very sweet, he's very warm, and it makes me as the reader feel safe. So no doubt she must have felt safe from being around him, even though she's highly critical of him at first. And something happens where they both end up, it's kind of a trauma. They see a guy in need on the street, and that person's need brings them closer together, and her coworker Raymond start having lunch together and talking frequently. And you get the sense that this friendship means more to Eleanor Oliphant than she realizes. It reminded me much of Lars and the Real Girl, of how after a while he gave up his imaginary relationships for relationships that were more fulfilling and that were real. And this is kind of what happens with her as she starts to blossom and starts to see the world differently and go places and really enjoy herself. And you start seeing what the trauma was from her past and all the traumas she's gone through. Definitely there are triggers in this novel that I don't recommend people reading or hearing the audiobook if things like child abuse or relationship abuse trigger you, or even drinking or drugs, because there's some of that in there. But on the whole, I think it's a fantastic novel. The end was left a little up to the reader's interpretation to guess what happened. I choose to believe the most positive thing happened in that, I choose to believe the most positive thing. Of course, I haven't given an extreme amount of detail about this book because it's a discovery book. It is one that you have to read for yourself or listen to for yourself, because anything more that I give hints about, it does give away these wonderful secrets, and I don't want to be a spoiler person, so I recommend reading it. I give it a 3. I think it's an amazing read. The voice actress on Audible did a fantastic job, gave Eleanor Oliphant this very quirky, idiosyncratic personality that you just can't, you need a good actress to be able to pull that off, and she did a wonderful job. So I recommend going on Audible and listening to it, if not picking up the book. You will enjoy it either way. As for our drink gets a 3. It was a delicious drink. It wasn't coffee. I can't blame it for my mistake. It is still good for what it is, so I give it a 3. The next thing that I'm going to do is the silver. I don't know if it's the next thing I'm going to do, because it's taking me a while to get through this. It kind of reads like a Bible. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm doing the Middle Earth Lord of the Rings history through chronological order. So it'll be up when it's up. For now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hit like, subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of thing, and leave me a comment and let me know how I'm doing and if you like it. So thanks guys. Have a great week.